And so when President Obama was here the last time, I got to record him. And amazing. Let's think about what he's saying in 2021 after the insurrection, shall we?
One day. We can't afford it right now, but you will fly. As grandmother, as Elijah related, and as grandmothers do, was a little more impatient with her advice. Your daddy, she said, he's been waiting and waiting and waiting for a better day. Don't you wait. And Elijah did not wait. Against all odds, Elijah earned his degrees. He learned about the rights that all people in this country are supposed to possess, with a little help apparently from Perry Mason. Elijah became a lawyer to make sure that others had rights. And his people had their God-given rights. And from the State House to the House of Representatives, his commitment to justice and the rights of others would never, ever waver. Elijah's example, the son of parents who rose from nothing to carve out just a little something. A public servant who toiled to guarantee the least of us have the same opportunities that he had earned. A leader who once said he'd die for his people, even as he lived every minute for them. His life validates the things we tell ourselves about what's possible in this country. Not guaranteed, but possible. The possibility that our destinies are not preordained, but rather through our works and our dedication and our willingness to open our hearts to God's message of love for all people, we can live a purposeful life. We can reap a bountiful harvest. That we are neither sentenced to wither among the rocks nor assured a bounty, but we have the capacity, the chance, as individuals and as a nation, to root ourselves in good soil. Elijah understood that. That's why he fought for justice. That's why he embraced this beloved community of Baltimore. That's why he went on to fight for the rights and opportunities of forgotten people all across America, not just in his district. He was never complacent, for he knew that without clarity of purpose and a steadfast faith and the dogged determination demanded by our liberty,
Dogged determination.
the promise of this nation can wither. Complacency, he knew, was not only corrosive for our collective lives, but for our individual lives.
Corrosive. Pay attention to the word.
It's been remarked that Elijah was a kind man. I tell my daughters, and I have to say, listening to Elijah's daughter speak, that got me choked up. I'm sure those of you who have sons feel the same way, but there's something about daughters and their father want them to know that being a strong man includes being kind. That there's nothing weak about kindness and compassion. There's nothing weak about looking out for others. There's nothing weak about being honorable. You're not a sucker to have integrity.
Amen.
And to treat others with respect. I was sitting here and I was just noticing the Honorable Elijah E. Cummings. And, you know, this is a title that we confer on all kinds of people who get elected to public office. We're supposed to introduce them as honorable. But Elijah Cummings was honorable before he was elected office.
Yep.
There's a difference. There's a difference if you are honorable and treated others honorably outside the limelight, on the side of the road, in a quiet moment, counseling somebody you work with. Let your daughters know you love them. You know, as president, I knew I could always count on Elijah being honorable and doing the right thing. And people have talked about his voice. There is something about his voice that just made you feel better. You know, there's some people that have that deep baritone, a prophetic voice. And when it was good times and we achieved victories together, that voice and that laugh was a gift. But you needed it more during the tough times, when the path ahead looked crooked, when obstacles abounded, when I entertained doubts, or I saw those who were in the fight start to waver. That's when Elijah's voice mattered most. And more than once during my presidency, when the economy still looked like it might plunge into depression, when the health care bill was pronounced dead in Congress, I would watch Elijah rally his colleagues. The cost of doing nothing is nothing, he would say. And folks would remember why they entered into public service. Our children are the living messengers we send to a future we will never see, he would say. And he would remind all of us that our time is too short not to fight for what's good and what is true and what is best in America. 200 years to 300 years from now, he would say, people will look back at this moment and they will ask the question, what did you do? And hearing him, we would be reminded that it falls upon each of us to give voice to the voiceless. Amen. And comfort to the sick. An opportunity to those not born to it, and to preserve and nurture our democracy. Elijah Cummings was a man of noble and good heart. His parents and his faith planted the seeds of hope and love and compassion and righteousness in that good soil of his. He has harvested all the crop that he could. For the Lord has now called Elijah home to give his humble, faithful servant rest. And it now falls on us to continue his work, so that our young boys and girls in Baltimore, across Maryland, across the United States, and around the world might too have a chance to grow and to flourish.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we will honor him. That's how we will remember him. That's what he would hope for.
Amen.
May God bless the memory of
Elijah Cummings.
the very honorable Elijah Cummings. And may God bless this city and this state and this nation that he loved. God bless you. Thank you.
So, I don't know if you guys remember when Elijah Cummings passed, but we lost a lot of great ones over time. And the real deal is okay, we are Americans too. And the ability to walk away and pretend that we don't have to know everything about every bill if you're participating in the leadership role, well, that's unfortunate because you have all the tools before you to ensure that children have access. And when you're voting as a committee on the whole and you don't understand what Title I means, you don't understand neglected and delinquent, and you don't demand the outcomes for the children who are actually generating those dollars, I have a great concern as we really do not understand who we are as Americans individually. As you wake up, every morning you wake up, you're more empowered because you know more than what you knew the day before. And that's what I can say every time I go to bed. I know more than what I knew the day before as I engage in every day something. And it's like sowing seeds. As you sow seeds, you reap a harvest. In 2021, will we reap the harvest as the American people? Do we realize that it is our children who continue to be on the plantation as they are denied early starts and early services as all other children? It is simply a violation of due process. What is the harbor except for a separate and unequal program that does not provide the same educational opportunities as the public school system? All these charter schools and all these senators and representatives who are talking about programs that their children participate in, not programs that your children are participating in. They're not even talking about the way you're forced to live. I see some nightmares, and I understand what it feels like. Do you know what it feels like to have someone coming crying about losing their children? Having no opportunity and always someone in judgment. Who are you to judge? This is America. We live in the American, under the American philosophy. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't because you were part of that insurgency on January 26th. What do you say? Maybe that's what it was all about in 2021. We realized that there were people who never wanted to release their hands off of what they wrongly stole. And that is our people from our nation. We have no nation to go back to. They totally destroyed our bloodlines. I mean, it's just real. Do you know who you are? Do you know where you came from? How many of your past relatives were sold into slavery, and how many babies were removed from families? And do you even know who you're related to? No, you don't. But Congress does. That's how come they created the word kinship. It means that you, on the other hand, may be related to someone of color. Therefore, we're not going to pay you the same level that we'll pay other people for overseeing your burden, your impact. You made them. Now we got to take care of them. Listen, it disturbs me when I listen to law enforcement participating in the writing of the rules and the services that are governing us, as they don't enable and ensure that the people who are supposed to be providing that level of access, that you even have basic access. No, children are not learning to read, not learning to write. Hell, there should be penalties aligned for people who are incarcerated who cannot read and write, as we've been an educated nation for how long? To tell the truth, who are you? I mean, it is more than a dream to understand that we've lived through all that we've lived through. It is more than a dream to understand that you can touch the stars and the mountains and get as high as you can in this country and then have it all end because someone coveted and wanted what you and who you were all about. Let's not forget Michael Prince. Let's not forget, you just come on, name them all. We live in that kind of dysfunctional nation. This is not the land of the free and the home of the brave. No, this is the land of wake up, America. Wake up. Do you not recall that Lauryn Hill had to pay $2.3 million in back taxes? And then to get a president like Donald Trump, and he paid $750 dollars. When I know my son would have paid $10,000 out of his hard-earned taxes because he didn't have any dependents and no write-offs. Okay, get a grip, America. Grip. Get a grip. Understand, you are only who you believe you are, but you know nothing if you've not continued to learn in 2021. The reality is that the rules are the rules and they've never changed. Under Title I requires a level of involvement and a level of engagement from the community, the people who we send the money back to the states to help support. That's right. Federal dollars and federal allocation for federal lands, federal services, everything that we help support in the federal government comes from the investment of the American taxpayer, i.e., that's you. Me too, boo. Even if it's a little bit. And even if they provide you a service, they are driving dollars into your local community because somebody has to get a grant. Somebody has to provide those services. But if we're talking about the lack of the quality of the oversight, the intentional misappropriation of funding to supplant concepts and ideals that perhaps the dollars didn't, drive, figuring out all ways around the rules, but constantly impacting people who look like me and you, boo. Time to wake up. I'm not the kind of person. I heard yesterday, you guys got to listen to your senators. And senators said, why do we allow emails and texts and faxes in regards to bills when we have to charge lobbyists $300 to come in here participate? And I said, lobbyists, do you understand what we're talking about? Lobbyists really have no place in education. Actually, it's the Department of Education who should be writing those bills and then trying to find engaged community partners to partner with to come and advance the education for all services for all people. And no, boo, it ain't happening. No, they're doing carve-outs. For whatever reason, your children can't get in the programs that are being run in their own local communities. And they have made rules and regulations where if you get in trouble, even smoking weed one time, drinking one time, man, if you hear them talk about the inabilities of the people, you think that they were licensed psychologists or licensed, mental health professionals and all of the health profession and how they just really don't participate in public education oversight here. I'm just really trying to understand how it is that we don't understand that education is all about modifying humans' behaviors. And as a people, truly, we understand what our behaviors are like. I can't talk this long because I got to get a new computer. My drive is full. It doesn't save to the cloud. You can have so much space online and your stuff never get there. It's just real. I mean, We have to begin to understand network management is going to be critical in 2021. Yes, yes, yes. As we don't understand that we buy, but we don't own nothing. And someone else is always controlling. And you always have to pay attention to what you could do when you first got the program, to what you can't do after you install it and put it on the net. Please wake up in 2021. Know that your voice is critical. Know that the reality is you are the one you're waiting on seeing. So catch me in the morning on Anchor. My podcast is called Parent Empowerment Hour. You may not or may agree with me. Truly, 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 it's irrelevant. It's all about what you're choosing to do in 2021 so you'll be heard. So until tomorrow, catch me again. This is Darlene Anderson signing out.